Welcome to Reflections, a program where we discuss Christian values and virtues for the transformation of the individual and of our nation as a whole. Today, we will discuss the very problematic topic of corruption. Corruption in Nigeria, we call it the war against corruption, the fight against corruption, the struggle against corruption, the struggle for the emergence of a corrupt-free society. Of a society where there is discipline, where there is no impunity. For many years, right from the first military coup in this country, we have been discussing the subject of corruption. Izeku and Co, Ademoyega and their colleagues, the majors, they came and their greatest excuse was corruption. By then they were talking of 10%. The various military regimes, they struck because they wanted to fight corruption. In recent times, we're beginning to see corruption has led to the death of 25,000 people, perhaps, for monies meant to fight Boko Haram have been looted or embezzled. We have with us a very well-known lawyer. And as we discuss corruption today, we're going to be discussing about the role of lawyers. Recently, I had the privilege of addressing the Nigerian Bar Association on the role of law and the role of lawyers in the development of a nation and in the promotion of democracy. And I had the opportunity to point the direction, the attention of lawyers to their privileged position as those who use their learning to promote justice. That law exists in a society principally to promote justice. But our experience in this country has been that perhaps the most learned gentlemen, the most qualified lawyers, a lot of those we call senior advocates of Nigeria, use their privileged position in the legal profession to protect the looters of the treasury of Nigeria, to protect those who rule with impunity, to protect criminals in our society. I have with me in the studio one who will throw light into this, into the question of corruption and the role of lawyers. Somebody we all know. I have the privilege of introducing Mr. Femi Falana, Senior Advocate of the Masses. Okay, you are also Senior Advocate of Nigeria. But before he became Senior Advocate of Nigeria, he was Senior Advocate of the Masses. Femi, you're welcome.
Thank you, Father.
Great.
My pleasure.
And I want to thank you for your cooperation and support throughout the period that we were, struggling with others, human rights community, when the late Gani Fawahimi was alive, and working towards how we can get over the terrible regime of Abuja. You have been in the trenches for all these years.
Yes, sir.
I'm happy to have you on Reflections.
Thank you very
and much. We are discussing corruption. And I know you are just not long ago we met in Lagos, and you showed me some documents, very frightening. The level of corruption in this country in various sectors. And that the one that is making the news all over the place often is just one sector. But you demonstrated to us that so many different sectors, the oil sector, the banking sector, very many sectors are, stinking with corruption. And you showed us what you, as an individual lawyer, you are trying to do. And that means lawyers can do a lot. So, how can people of your profession use their profession to fight corruption? Is corruption so overwhelming that there's nothing we can do about it? What can lawyers do? What can judges do? What can we use the instruments of law to do?
Thank you, Father. Like you did say, when the first group of military adventurers tried to enter the state, they accused the first set of civilian administrators of the First Republic of engaging in 10% in contracts, But now it's become 90% or even sometimes 100%, where the money is taken and no project can be seen on ground. It is as bad. It has reached a dangerous proportion, dangerous level, whereby people down our roads People die in the hospitals because the money meant for building infrastructure in the society has been diverted and stolen. In such a society, lawyers are not just called learned gentlemen for the sake of it. The whole idea of calling lawyers learned people, unlike other people are educated, it's not born out of arrogance. It is because before a child is born, when the child is in the womb, the lawyer knows the law that applies. When the child is born, when the child is growing up, the lawyer knows the law to apply. If anything happens to the child or the child grows up, is going to go to school,
he suffers an abuse in school,
the lawyer knows the law to apply. When the man grows up, is going to get married, the lawyer knows the law to apply. To live a married life, the lawyer knows the law to apply. If the marriage is going to be broken, the lawyer knows the rights of the parties. And if either of the parties die,
the lawyer knows.
Or when either of the parties is going to die, the lawyer knows how to manage the estate by writing a will. And if the person died intestate, in other words, without a will, the lawyer knows the law to apply. So, when you look at the totality of the life of a people, the place of lawyers is eminently placed. When you therefore have abuse of the privilege of lawyers, it can be very frustrating.
It's very sad.
When you have given your entire life, and that is what the society has done. We have entrusted our lives to lawyers because they know the law. And when lawyers connive or collude with, conspire with those who are diverting money meant for the development of a society, it can be extremely disturbing. And that society has to do something. To be honest with you, Father, our problem, corruption is just a manifestation of it. I think we should be talking of impunity.
Impunity.
Yeah. Because a law, when we talk of corruption, it is the abuse, the violation of the Appropriation Act. Every year, the National Assembly, the House of Assembly of a state, or even the local government have what you call budgets. The budget law is passed, and that is the Appropriation Act, which will set out building of schools, construction of roads, and the rest of them. When you remove the money, you have violated the Appropriation Act. You have engaged in impunity. When there is an accident on the road, because the road has not been properly maintained,
yes,
because the money has been stolen, and people die in the process. That is impunity. Corruption born out of impunity. When a big man commits an offense, the lawyer is not supposed to defend him at all costs. Because
but they speak about the right of the accused.
Like the late Justice Shukudifo Oputa made clear, in a criminal situation, justice is not a one-way traffic. It's not for the accused alone.
Yes.
It's a three-way traffic. Justice for the accused, justice for the victim, and justice for the society. The society whose ethics
have been broken.
Has an interest in the criminality that has been committed. Why we say lawyers are ministers in the temple of justice? It is to make the point that lawyers are not just representing their client, they are representing the society.
And it is a sacred responsibility.
Of course. And your duty is greater to the society than to your client. In other words, if your client has committed an offense and he briefs you, and you know he or she has no defense to the case, as a good lawyer,
you shouldn't defend by all means.
You are supposed to advise. You are better plead guilty
and
get
minimum sentence.
Minimum sentence. This is what we call plea bargain. so that you do not waste the time and the resources of the state and the court.
Okay, so that's the origin of the plea bargaining.
Yeah. But we have made a mockery of it by now limiting it to serious cases of corruption committed by the rich. We don't talk of plea bargaining when you are talking of the poor.
Yes, when a poor man steals a goat, no plea bargaining.
You don't talk of plea bargaining. I mean, the last time in Edo State, somebody stole bushmeat worth maybe 500 naira. He was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment. Whereas a big man in Abuja who stole over $1 billion in the pension fund was only given a pat on the back
and has to pay 750,000
naira. And there and then, he issued a check to cover it.
Meaning,
part of the stolen money.
Meaning it doesn't hurt him at all.
It doesn't hurt him. So this is the problem the society has run into. And lawyers have a role. Because many of our colleagues forget that the origin of
plea bargaining
law practice in the days of Cicero, the gown that we wear as lawyers has a small pocket at the back. At that time, lawyers weren't charging fees because you have contributed to the promotion of justice
in the society
during the day. And when you are going and you have impressed your client,
the people
you put a coin.
Pay some tithe.
It's when you get home that you put off your gown that you then find out what you have made during the day. But over the years, we had made a mockery of the justice system. Now it's all about money making. And for a society that has become so materialistic, we no longer talk of justice. So when the big men and women commit grave offenses, including corruption, murder and the rest of them, and they are arrested by the police or the EFCC, we suddenly remember, oh, this is Gestapo.
This is dictatorship.
This is dictatorship. A big man was certainly handcuffed and hair was let loose. And I had to ask some of my colleagues, are you aware that on a daily basis, the ordinary people who have committed
minor
trifle offenses are not only handcuffed, they are leg chained.
Yes.
But nobody talks about them.
And thrown into Black Maria.
Thrown into Black Maria. Sometimes the Black Maria is put in the sun. You know, under discussion sun for hours. And nobody complains. But when it comes to the big man.
That is something that actually troubled me in all these discussions. Because you and I know we were involved when I was at the Catholic Secretariat in freeing detainees. And in those days, long-term detainees for minor malfeasances. Yeah. And they were like skeletons. Forgotten there. Yeah. I mean, literally forgotten. 4, 5, 6 years for an offense that may not be worth 10,000 naira.
Yeah. And the press does not bother about that.
Yes. Now, so are we talking of a society where people are equal? Or is it really a society? Have we come to accept that some are more equal than others?
Well, in the Nigerian Constitution, it is stated clear that there shall be no discrimination on the basis of fortune, wealth, or class, religion, or political, whatever, or circumstances of your birth. It is also stated that there shall be equality before the law. But in a class society like our own, lawyers give the impression that certain people are higher than the law.
The prerogative they have.
That they are higher than the law. And sometimes we now go to court to get court orders, either interlocutory, interim, or perpetual injunction, that certain criminal suspect cannot be tried. It doesn't happen in any part of the world.
Well, but then it doesn't happen in any part of the world. Our jurists, our lawyers have studied in many parts of the world, in England, in the US, and yet they come here, they are getting those orders from appeal courts, they are getting from Supreme Court. What's happening?
No, I can say this, to be honest with you.
Yes.
The Supreme Court
does not give such.
Has never given an order that anybody should not be arrested. The Court of Appeal has never said, don't arrest a criminal suspect. In fact, you are chased out of the court to stand your trial. But what happens in the high courts?
Okay, this only happens in the high
Yeah,
courts.
senior lawyers go to high courts to, as it were, blackmail judges and intimidate them to grant orders that are illegal under our law. Even for those who enjoy immunity. The Supreme Court has made the point in the case of Inspector General of Police and Ganifa Wemi that even if you enjoy immunity, it does not cover investigation. You can be investigated, the report is kept.
Until you leave
the
that
day
office.
you leave office, you can be dealt with. But even international law has now gone beyond that.
So say, even
under the Rome Statute, the fact that you are a sitting head of state does not exculpate you or prevent you from being brought to justice if you engage in crimes against humanity or genocidal acts. Currently, the Vice President of Kenya,
yes,
William Ruto, his president has just, gotten off the hook.
Yes.
President Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta. But the president of Sudan
is in for it.
Umar Bashir.
Yes.
The last time he came here, a civil society organization went to court. He ran away. He went to South Africa for a meeting. He also had to bolt out of the country. That means there is no hiding place for criminality. Right now, the former president of Chad, Asni Abre, is standing trial in Senegal. The former president of Cote d'Ivoire, Laurent Gbagbo, is standing trial in The Hague.
Yes.
Former president
of Liberia
is cooling off. Is sentenced to 50 years imprisonment. So you can only postpone the evil day. Unfortunately, we are yet to appreciate that in this society. And that is why there is total recklessness. And the danger of it for us, even as lawyers, is that people have lost confidence.
The confidence. I mean, the whole thing you are saying about how the law profession started and the regard that the society has for lawyers. And they were called learned gentlemen because we have entrusted to you our own protection.
If you are going to fill your school set form to get your form,
yes,
you have to contact a lawyer or a priest.
Yes.
Because these are people
with credibility.
Yeah, in the society. When you abuse the privilege by shielding criminals from arrest, you have betrayed the society and betrayed your God. If you believe in God.
And the reason why you are called learned gentlemen and the lawyers have, all the respect in society is that we believe that you will protect us. And that if somebody is going to hurt me, the lawyer is there to protect me. But when the lawyer now sets out to protect the rich and the powerful and those in power and those who have all the resources and those who can pay him or her, meaning that his service is for the highest bidder. And then as a service is for the highest bidder, he is also committed to protecting and defending that high bidder no matter his offense. Now, if this is beginning to happen, of course, you said before our problem is impunity. That is impunity. Now, how can we approach this problem with the legal profession?
Now, let me just say this. The rich, the people in government, and the rest of them are entitled to legal protection.
Sure.
What we are saying, we must not let the poor. We must also defend the poor. And that is why we have insisted that the Legal Aid Council, the National Human Rights Commission, should be funded to provide for the indigent and the vulnerable segment of the society. For instance, I won't turn out a poor man who comes to my chamber because of poverty. In fact, we are told not to reject.
I think there is a minimum number of pro bono cases every lawyer or every senior advocate. I think there's a number, isn't it? Minimum.
That is a desire. It's not there.
Oh, it doesn't happen.
No, only a few of us render pro bono publico services. And they even make jest of us. I mean, for instance, the late Ganifa Wemi and I separately decided that no matter the amount of money you offered us, we're not going to defend anybody charged by the ICPC or the FCC. The reason was this. We felt if we could not add value to what they were doing, we had no business defending those who were being brought to trial. Other people can do that. And what we therefore did was to support them whenever the rich and their lawyers attempted
You support
to harass
you
these
support the
organizations.
prosecution.
Oh yes. These organizations. At the same time, we're also critical of excesses or overzealousness by some
By the yes.
officials. But we made the point that you have no business. I mean, for instance, we have repeatedly maintained that it's not in our law for anybody to walk to court and say, don't arrest a criminal suspect. If you go on like that, one day we'll go to court and say, don't arrest terrorists
Yes.
or armed robbery suspect. And there will be anarchy in the society. Two, we also make it clear to our clients, our colleagues, that Nigeria is the only country in any modern state where a criminal suspect can suspend his trial for 10 or 15 years,
Yes.
as we do here. Or to say,
And delayed justice is no justice.
because you cannot allow a tiny microscopic minority of rich people to take over your criminal justice system, as we have done in Nigeria. And that is why, again, we have been celebrating, to the annoyance of some of our colleagues, the enactment of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015,
What does it
which
say?
has abolished stay of proceedings, suspended trial in any form, and that if you are going to raise plenary objections, you can do so.
But the
one
trial-
the trial will go on and ruling will be given during the judgment. But what we were doing before,
That the trial stops.
no, as soon as a charge is filed, you file an objection, a ruling is given, you file an interlocutory appeal, and you ask for stay, either in the trial court or in the appellate court. And sometimes there was a case in Abuja here that lasted for 14 years. And at the end of the case, the day, the Supreme Court said, go back and stand your trial. By the time you come back, and by the time they came back in that case, the witnesses could no longer be found.
They have been.
The
they are
judge
dead.
had been
Retired.
promoted or retired. And so the state was forced to withdraw the case. But a poor man is speedily tried and jailed.
Yes, within 3
So
months.
we now have a situation whereby we are eroding the poor to jail, while the rich who commit the greatest offenses are walking free. And that has become dangerous for our system, to the extent that nobody has confidence in our system. And it's worse that we are now outsourcing justice. I mean, I'm sure you know the case of a governor who was too powerful here. He was charged to court. And he told the FCC chairman then, Mr. Nuri Badu, that you have the temerity to charge me. We are going to remove you. And as soon as he was released on bail, the FCC chairman was removed. Another person was brought. And they reorganized the FCC. The governor was being tried, said, apart from choosing my defense counsel, I don't like the prosecutor chosen for me by the FCC. He also nominated the prosecutor. It's never happened in the history of Nigeria.
The prosecutor against you.
There was no court in his state, because the court of appeal in Kaduna said, take him to his home state. There was no court there. No, take him to the nearest judicial division, which was not his home state. Again, there was some quick manipulation. A court was acquired. A house was acquired for the judge. And so he was tried there. And 170 count charge was dismissed. The same person traveled out of Nigeria,
And he
was arrested,
was grabbed.
in Dubai, and taken to England. He now pleaded guilty to the offenses he had pleaded not guilty here, and had been freed here. People then ask you, what kind
of judiciary do you have there?
Nigeria
what kind of lawyers do you have there?
Nigeria become a joke in the international community. And that was one of the reasons why we mobilized the National Assembly to pass the Addition of Criminal Justice Act 2015. And there are moves to ensure that that law does not work. And that was why I had to come out, and some of my colleagues, when there was a stay of proceedings in respect of the case of the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki. We said, no, it's no longer part of the law. Happily, the Supreme Court delivered its judgment and said, go and stand your trial. And that's how it should be.
On that note, we are bringing this program to an end. And Femi, it's been wonderful having you in the studio.
It's my pleasure, Father.
You. When next you are around, I will bring you back for another discussion.
Thank you, Father. It will be my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.